Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I, of course, am Ant. We've got a mixed bag full of stuff to take a look at this week, so we're going to hop onto it. Obviously, if you saw the intro, you know what we're looking at. If you're new here, thanks for checking out the channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. All right. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The more the merrier. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share this across other platforms for anybody that you might think might find this interesting or informational. And of course, give it a like, a thumbs up there. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't hurt, and it actually helps me out. So anything you do to help the channel grow, I really do appreciate. So what do we got going on this week? Well, I finally tracked down an album that I've been looking for let's see now, 7 months. And I've had it for a few weeks. Haven't brought it forward yet, so I figured today's a good day for it. There's a lot of stuff that I've gotten in the past, month or so. And if you're a record collector like I am, you realize that it's feast or famine a lot of times, depending upon what you listen to, how broad your tastes are, and things like that. And we're definitely been in the feast end of things lately, getting a lot of stuff. We're running up to the holiday season, which always means there's a ton of box sets that come out, as well as Record Store Black Friday, which I talked about in detail last week, and what I'm looking for to pick up on the list for RSD Black Friday. So that's that. Anyhow, so I'm wearing a Struts t-shirt today, right? And that's the album I had finally hunted down. Not the Struts, but their lead singer, Luke Spiller. So take a look at that. This is obviously the CD because my hands aren't that big. And it's pretty simple. We've got the track listing there on the back. There really is nothing. This is as bare bones as you get as far as information goes. And it is due to be released on vinyl via Big Machine Records, which is the label that released the CD. Now, this isn't typical like of a Struts album. This is a Luke Spiller album, okay? And a lot of it is very ballady. It's very good. And I've said it before, and other people have said it as well. Luke Spiller is kind of along the lines of a modern-day Freddie Mercury. He is a phenomenal frontman, probably one of the better frontmen to come along this century so far. He really commands the stage. He's got an amazing voice, great range, lots of soul, and the album itself is damn good. And I'm really happy to have it in my collection now. A lot of strings on this album. It kicks off with strings with Devil in Me. If This Isn't Love, the ending is always the same. The title track, which is Love Will Probably Kill Me Before Cigarettes and Wine. Magic at Midnight in Mel's Diner. She's Just Like California. I'm With Her, But I'm in Love with You, which is another fantastic ballad. Great lyrics on that one. Don't Be Afraid to Love Me, The Sound of You, and Angel. The Sound of Love, and Angel Like You. Sorry, I screwed that up. So you may want to check this out if you've never listened to the Struts. If you like big cinematic records, kind of way the stuff was in the 70s with orchestras, this might be the ticket for you. Definitely worth the price of admission if you can hunt one down and find a copy. And believe it or not, they're only selling for like $10, which is great. And it's well worth every last penny on that album. Excellent album. Next up, we're going to jump back to the 90s a little bit. The album that I'm going to show you next is a live album. You know how I've always said I love my live albums. I am a huge Radiohead fan as well. And I was kind of surprised. I didn't know this was coming out. This is the Hail to the Thief live recordings, which take place between 2003 and 2009. The track listing is what the track listing is. It is literally every track in order as it was recorded on the album live. It's not a lot to look at, so we'll show you that real quick. And we'll move along to the next one. So, this is the album itself. This was the independent record store release as opposed to the band's release and the standard black release. the band's release on their website, which apparently I found out way too late about. That was a cyan blue. As far as this album, this is the indie version, so it's not the blue, but it is red, and that seems to be a recurring theme this week on the stuff that I've picked up. And this is, like I said, all the live recordings. Basically the Gloaming, They're There, I Will, Myxomatosis, Scatterbrain, A Wolf at the Door. Very, very cool stuff. And also, we have side A, which you should have done first. 2 + 2 is 5. Sit down, stand up. Sail to the moon, go to sleep. Where I end, you begin. And We Suck Young Blood. So you have that in this gorgeous red, candy apple red vinyl there. As far as the inserts go, got your lyrics and liner notes there, so you have that. And if you dig Hail to the Thief, you're going to like this. This recording is very vibrant. It really is a powerhouse recording for a band that's more known for being in the studio than they are for anything else. Their albums are very complex, and this album really stands up live. Fantastic hearing all these versions live. Next up, what do we got? Okay, so we have probably one of the last Rocktober releases. Should have brought this to you last week. I don't know how the hell I missed it. Actually, I do. I have so much stuff. What happened was it got confused in with other stuff, and I basically forgot I had it. This is the Stone Temple Pilots, all right? And this is the self-titled album that contains Between the Lines, Hickory Dichotomy, Cinnamon, and Maver. And there's other cool tunes on here as well. I really like Huckleberry Crumble as well, and also Fast as I Can. It is a strong album from Stone Temple Pilots late in their career. The rest of the tracks are Between the Lines, Take a Load Off, Dare If You Dare, Hazy Days, Bagman, Peacoat, Fast as I Can, First Kiss on Mars, and Maver. And this was one of the Rocktober releases. It does come with this cool insert. You get all your information right there, your lyrics, your liner notes, photo of the band. I actually I'm growing to appreciate more when bands, instead of making this the inner sleeve, that they give you an insert. So this way when, as they all eventually, rip through, you don't end up with a torn jacket. It's easy to replace the paper ones with better ones like rice paper and whatnot. So you have this, another slab of red vinyl. This is darker, more along a maroon, I guess. So that's a good one. I believe, if I'm correct, this was the last one that they did with Scott Weiland before he passed. I'm sure if I'm wrong, one of you will correct me in the comments. So that was a Rocktober release. And moving along to getting everything from STP on vinyl finally, because it was one of those bands that was 90s, which means I own everything by them on CD. Next up, we got a twofer. And this is this is a little perplexing to me. All right. So we have the 50th anniversary of Elton John's Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, which, if you know the story behind the album, it's basically Bernie Taupin and Elton John telling the story of them being accepted and being in America and touring here and how they came together. It's their story of coming into existence as a writing partnership. And the cool thing with this is you get the original album plus live performances from 2005. And it also includes a booklet, which we're going to take a look at all of that. This is a really nice gatefold album. It is embossed. It is beautiful. It has the original artwork, which is really great. We'll get this out of the way first before we take a look at it. So you get the gatefold with the band from 75, along with Elton and Bernie, with all the track listing there. Let me get my fat fingers out of the way. So you have all that. And we'll take a look at the inner sleeves. Like I said, they did a great job with, replicating the original album as it was when it came out 50 years ago. It is on heavyweight vinyl. Very, very cool and this is the extra album right here. So you have the original album. Uh, you have Captain Fantastic, Brown Dirt Cowboy, Tower of Babel, Bit of Fingers, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows, Someone Save My Life Tonight, which is the quintessential Elton John classic tune. Got to Get Me a Meal Ticket, Better Off Dead, Riding, We All Fall in Love Sometimes, and Curtains. And then when you get as far as the bonus stuff goes, you get Tell Me When the Whistle Blows, Captain Fantastic, The First Take, Riding, We All Fall in Love Sometime, Captain Fantastic Take 2, Bit of Fingers, and those were the session demos. Then side 4, you get the live recording with the Voices of Atlanta Choir. And this you only get 4 tracks, but you get Someone Saved My Life Tonight, and it's a really great version of this song. Got to Get Me a Meal Ticket, Better Off Dead, and We All Fall in Love Sometime with Curtains. And this is a really cool multicolored funky vinyl here. So it's like clear, a bit of red and black, very neat looking. And it also comes with this 28-page booklet, which gives you a greater understanding of where they were at this time in their career, and the recording of the album. And I'll show you a little bit of that as well. And then we'll move on to the thing that perplexes me about this release. So you have this booklet. You get the additional artwork and everything. And really, you take a deep dive into what the album is about. Basically, as it says here, every lyric was about Bernie and Elton. And it's fantastic. It's great. I love doing deep dives into stuff. So this really, for me, really scratches an itch as far as learning about the artists and where their head was at the time that they created this art. And it's really a fantastic celebration of that. Now, I was kind of surprised because they've put out box sets before. Elton's put out box sets before of Man Made Across the Water. He also has, the big box set that came out with, career spanning, Jewel box. I was kind of surprised they didn't do this as a box set, especially because there was another album that came out and they released it solo at the same time. And a lot of people don't know about this. I just happened to stumble across it. All right, I went to check out Elton's website and I saw that this had come out along with that, but separately. All right. And you can only get this through Elton John's website. And the track listing is the entire album live. But the difference is, as opposed to the, 4 tracks you get live on side 4 here, what you are getting here is the entire album in its entirety from 1975. And it is a numbered limited edition. As you see here, I got number 1225 of 5,000. So if you see this video and you're an Elton John fan, you may want to run over to Elton John's website and grab yourself a copy. There really isn't much in here. It's bare bones, but it is, once again, in the red family, a little more purplish red on this one. And, we're not going to discuss the track listing because we already have twice over with the demo sessions and the live stuff in the original album. But this sounds fantastic. It really is. It's an excellent keepsake of that time touring for Elton John and his band, which was, really on fire in the 70s. And I always say it. I regret the fact that I got into Elton John so late in life. But I did get to see him, so that always stands out to me. So next up, we got our big box set for the week, all right? And there are many, many box sets coming out over the next month or so, obviously because it's Christmas time, holiday season, right? Everybody's out there pushing all their product. And this one, I opted for the CD set simply because it's more stuff. Will I get the vinyl? Yeah, I'll get the vinyl somewhere down the line. Maybe Santa Claus will bring it to me. I don't know. But this is The Who, Who Are You? And This is a stunning box set. 7 CDs and a Blu-ray, unreleased rare, studio versions, live stuff, Dolby Atmos 5.1. You name it, you got it. Comes with a nice big hardcover book as well. This is one of my favorite Who albums. And when you start reading into the book, it's a great history lesson as far as the band. They were fighting. This is the final album that they recorded with Keith Moon. They were all pretty much. There was a lot of band infighting. Pete Townsend says in the book that they were pretty much at the end of their rope, and they were at the point of calling it a day. They decamped and did their own stuff, and they came back together and created this. And at the time, punk was really getting big, and instead of just being like the old guard and going away from everything, they embraced the guys in the Sex Pistols, and they basically, and it's even stated in the book, that they kind of took them under their wing to an extent, which is pretty neat, because and they saw a lot of themselves, when they were younger, in the Pistols and in the punk movement itself, and they went out drinking with them and hung out and all that stuff, and it was pretty heady times because, like I said, you had Moon, who was basically getting ready to shuffle off this mortal coil, but as far as the last album he did with the Who, it is pretty damn good, and I love it. But then again, I am a diehard Who fan, so I will never complain. And what do you get in here? All right, so obviously we have that. Comes in this nice slipcase, and it tells you get the original album, then you get the Glyn Johns mix, which the band wasn't happy with, and that's why it got done again. You get sessions and demos, which is great. Entwistle really contributed a lot to this album, much more than he had in the past. And I had the pleasure, I had the distinct honor of being house DJ for a show on one of John's tax tours. I have mentioned this before, but when you're in the room with a rock and roll legend, an icon, you're going to talk about it. And John was just amazing as far as his set. There was no cheapening out because it was in a club or anything like that. Great guy. My buddy Kevin Lynch had a bass string that John had snapped during the gig. Wonder if he still has it. If you do, Kevin, and you're watching this, let me know. And in here, you see all of the albums. You've got the original album, then you get the Glyn Johns mix of everything on this disc, and then you get the sessions and demos. We'll show you these quick, because these are, there's no reason to really go into too much detail on the actual track listings, but give you a look there at everything. The live stuff is cool. I do like the live stuff. You hear me say that ad nauseum. Basically, they went down to Shepparton, once again, reading the book, they went down to Shepparton basically to find themselves. All right, and they were tired of playing stuff from previous albums, like Quadrophenia. They were really relying more on, basic rock songs and Tommy. They were leaning heavily on Tommy, and this kind of helped them find their way back. The live gigs, and I mean, there are some great tunes on here, like "Who Are You," which is one of the all-time classic Who songs. "Guitar and Pen," which is a phenomenal tune. Also, one of my favorites, "Sister Disco." It's exceptional. They really had some great stuff, and the Entwistle, tracks here, "Had Enough," 905, "Trick of the Light," really good tunes from John as well. So, definitely if you're a Who fan, this is worth the money. And I am a Who fan, so for me it is worth the money. So that is everything that I have for you this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Always tune back in. I'm going to try and get this one up as quick as possible. I know it's been a lot of stuff I've been throwing out there lately. There are a lot of videos that have come out in the past week or two. Not too many people have checked out, so go back and give those some love. And that's pretty much it. It is the time of the year when I piss my wife off and do No Shave November. So we'll see what we end up with as far as the beard goes this November. And that is everything. Till next time, peace, one love, music. I'm out.